Feel going. Let's get a let's get this going on. Let's get this going on. Let's get this going on. What's going on? Keep going for seconds. Okie dokie then. So this is gonna be me rattling off for a few minutes and how, well, a few minutes, point, an hour, about basically everything I know about Guns of Icarus. So, in Guns of Icarus, you are a crewman who's on a ship running to the other ships, either with your friends or against your friends or your enemies, doesn't really matter. And you're flying on airships, giant blimps that are running around. You can play as one of three classes: engineer, gunner, and if you're in the captain slot, pilot. Each have very different roles, but we're just going to start off with engineer because that's simplest. So it's going to roll into a pretty... We'll just start our own little practice game here. Just know how the whole thing works. You gotta know how to work one ship. And this is the absolute worst ship I probably could pick for this. Hold on. Nope, nope, nope. We're not doing that live. Heck no. Just a little bit simpler. I don't like that ship. It is my prejudice, but I do not like magnates. Fly me if you want to later, but it's not me. We're gonna start some symbol. Yep, Pyramidian. Perfect. The tutorial ship, yes, so it's pretty stereotypical, but it is very good for illustrating points. Okie dokie. So I'm just gonna hop straight into a match real quick, and we're going to see how a ship functions. So there are very different components in this thing you need to know about to know how a ship flies. Start off with is the hull. It's split up into two sections. And why is all this stuff on fire? Ah, for crying out loud. Okay. Get working on it, crew, get working on it. Come on, let's go. You guys gonna do anything, or is... That'll do it. Yep, there you go. Alright. While they use that, I'm gonna try and figure out how to get rid of this stuff all over the screen. Yes! There you are. Alright. Of course, everything begins on fire. Everything begins on fire. I'm not even the right class either. Oh well. Come on, you stinky. Yes, this is very structured. Very structured. Okay, is everything stopping on fire now? Alright, guys, get everything up to screen. Get everything pristine. Come on. You use a spanner for that. Okay. Alright, I want you guys to stop moving around. Bingo. Now, as I was saying, there are a few different parts in the ship you need to know about to make sure it all works right. The hull, engines, balloon, guns, and the helm. So, of all these, the most important is the hull. The hull basically is how everything fits together. This ship, that look at the ship, all the components. It's like the glue that keeps everything together. And this is the hull armor. This preserves a protective shield around the hull. Now you can see how well our hull integrity is doing by the bar on the screen. And essentially our ship's health bar. If it's any damage, we cannot repair it while we're in the air and have to go back to dock. And considering there's no dock available in the match, that means you effectively can't repair it. So it's important to protect all possible damage that could take. This thing does that job. It is the hull armor. It protects the entire ship's armor. So if this armor thing is up, the ship's hull integrity will not take any damage. This goes down, then the hull integrity can go pretty fast. So it's important to keep this up. One of the most important parts of the ship. Next up, something a bit simpler. The balloon. Now this is an airship, obviously. It's a blimp. So the blimp, this thing controls the ship's upward and downward movement. If the balloon goes down, then the ship goes down. not this careful against the armor, but without the armor holes, technically, the ship could survive without a balloon, but it'd be constantly grinding against the armor and usually will fall in a few minutes. So, balloon controls the ship's upward and downward mobility. Next up, the engines. This controls the ship's horizontal mobility. How fast it can go, how fast it can turn. The amount of engines and type of engines vary on each ship, but there are two different types. There's these main engines that control the main thrust, so just forward and backward, and then these guys that control the turning, left and right. Depending on the ship, you get different setups. Some ships, like the Squid, have all turning engines. Other ships have a mixture of main engines and side engines, so once again, gotta learn your ships. What am I missing? Hull, balloon, engines. Ah, yes, the guns. Now, these bad boys are as split turning for me. You can man them and you can shoot stuff. Guns have different damage types that you can find on the guide, but basically you shoot these things at ships, and they eventually die. I can go in more detail later, but yeah, they're guns. You shoot them. And lastly is the helm. Now, the helm is where the captain actually flies the ship from by turning the wheel. The keyboard commands are on the top left of the screen. RF to control forward and backward, A and D to turn left and right, WS to change altitude, and E to release the helm, and M to look at this convenient map right here, which will show you where your friendly ships and any spotted enemy ships are. This is very helpful, especially for captains when planning their attacks and coordinating. There are also two different chats you need to worry about. Crew chat, which is by default X, you talk to your crewmates on your ship. So if there were crewmates in here, they just hear me. If you want to talk to any captains, though, I have to use captain chat, which I have set as C. This allows me to talk to other ships that are friendly to me. Can't tell the enemy, but I can coordinate other friendly captains. Only captains can do this chat, so it's very convenient. Oh, nice katana. Okay, what else we got here? And another thing about the hull, about the helm here. So this is the engine speed gauge. So when we go max, let's go when the thing goes up. We go forward. And when things go down, we go full backward. And this blue thing right here is an altimeter. So, the higher we go, the more the blue bar fills. See, it's steadily rising, it's steadily rising, it's steadily rising, it's steadily rising. It's going up, it's going up, yep. And then we go down. It slowly falls. When this bar fills up, that means your ship's meet its max altitude, which means you can't go any farther up. So don't try constantly going up and up and up to the sun and expect to go any farther, because these ships have a solid altitude limit. What else is there? So, ship operation. 3 main roles. Engineers assigned to repair a ship. Oh yes, repairing. So, I'm going to need to get a different kit for this. We'll be right back to start to repair stuff. But for now, main parts of this ship. Hull. Split into hull integrity and hull armor. The hull armor can be repaired. Listing. But the hull integrity at the bottom of the screen cannot be. So make sure to keep this hull armor up so your hull integrity doesn't take any damage. Because if the hull integrity goes to 0, the entire ship blows up. Then we have the balloon, which controls the ship's vertical mobility. If it's up, the ship can float, and if it goes down, the ship will crash. How damaged it is also affects how fast the captain can go up or down. So the more damage it is, the slower the captain can make vertical maneuvers. Next up, we have the engines. We're split into 2 types: turning and main. Main controls just main thrust, forward and backward, and the turning engines control just turning, so left and right. And some ships have a combination of both, where the turn engine can also serve as a... Gosh darn it! Okay. Drift. And last thing is the guns that, well, they shoot stuff. I could go into more detail about them, but I want to save this for later. Just there are a lot of different guns, they do a lot of different things. So, now we're going to go into repairing. I'm going to go to a different match for this though, because I just have 1 wrench, and this is not fit for that. So, new match. match, new 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 match. Boop. Okie dokie. So, fun fact: the captain of the ship is usually a pilot, but can also take a gunner role or engineer role. Even in public matches too. So if we go back here, well, I'm just biffing. Let's see, create match. No one's here. If you want players, let's see, pirate death match. 2 ships. You can do a 1-ship pirate death match. Interesting. I guess you can queue, but yeah, if you're a gunner, you're a captain. You can choose to be a gunner engineer, but it's not recommended. You can do it, but it is not recommended. So, back to practice, back to practice. 1v0. And I'm gonna go engineer so I can show you how to repair these things. So and away we go. Please tell me the right kid, 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 please tell me the right kid. Not the right kid, it's gonna be very annoying. Yes, the right kid. So, everybody stop moving! Thank you. So, parts can be in 4 distinct states. Pristine, as you see here. When a part is perfectly in order, it has no health bar around it. So I walk up to this thing, and the only time I can see its status is if I go up here. This means this thing's working fine. I can do anything with this thing. So, that means you don't see anything screaming at you, it's doing fine. However, if the tower is damaged, we see a health bar. For instance, all these guns are damaged. The health bar means that they are damaged and I need to repair them. Of course, a part can be even worse damaged if they are on fire. So you see, on fire. I guess it's getting too loud. Get to work, guys. Get to work, guys. Bingo. All right. So yeah. So there's pristine, damaged, on fire, and if we do this enough, destroyed. If a part is destroyed, then that means that, okay, it's getting too loud here. Let's get things quieted down. Let's get things quieted down. Stop the fires, stop the fires. Let's go. Alright. So we're gonna see me doing some repair stuff right now, but I'll explain it in more detail in just a minute. Gosh darn it! Rule of thumb. In a match, do not leave the ship abandoned because things like that happen. So, up we go. Can you stop blaring at me music? Okay. Yeah, this is getting distracting. For me, at least. I don't know about you. So let's master volume. No. Music. Yes. There you are. So now we see parts in various states. Destroyed means it has this red. It has its red icon and a black barred health bar. Look up close. If it's spread like this, it means it needs to be rebuilt. So, repairing and rebuilding guns work in 2 distinct different ways. So when you're rebuilding a part, for instance like this guy, there is no cooldown for your hits. So, fast you can smack it, this thing will get rebuilt. So, the best thing for rebuilding things are your spanners. I'm just going to do this really quickly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, actually it was 8, but I added things here and there. Other parts aren't very good at repairing. It's not. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see, it's a lot slower. However, it's the opposite for repairing. So, the spanner here, not much damage. You see, this is like chipping away at it. But this bad boy, almost all done in 1 hit. So some parts do better at repairing, and other parts do better at rebuilding. There's a very big difference there. Usually the tools that repair things faster have worse rebuild times, and vice versa. There are tools like the pipe wrench that can do a bit of both, but obviously they can't specialize either for balance reasons. So, when parts are damaged, they don't work as well. So, they move slowly. For instance, guns, they reload more slowly, they turn more slowly. If they're on fire, you can't. You're on fire, actually. Let's see if we can get some fire in here. I cannot even man this thing, it's just too hot. So, oh gosh darn it. No. Ah, gosh darn, no. Okay. It's hard to see, but when a gun has too much, it's too hot, you can't even touch it. So as parts get more damaged or on fire, they work worse. So good thing to know. Very well structured. See, like, I can't even move this thing now, it's so damaged. Like, I'm trying and struggling, but it's just not happening, no matter what. So, the more damage the part is, the worse it performs. Engines will have less thrust and turn more slowly. Guns will reload more slowly and can't move as fast in their axes. Just a mess. So, it's important to also keep parts as pristine as possible as you're doing things. But what's that? It's repairing, yes. So, while when you rebuild something, you can just smack it as fast as you can and it'll just go up. So, 1, 2, 3. Repairing is a different beast entirely. So, you can find a damaged part here. Yeah, it's perfect. When you try to repair parts, there's a cooldown. So, I hit this thing, but none of my hits are actually affecting this thing's health. You see the bar? It's not moving. So when you're repairing something, wait for that timer to go out. You actually can hear it too. You see that little tick? That means that thing's still on cooldown. So as long as you hear that tick and you see that little pie moving around, you cannot repair it anymore than it already has. So versus this thing. Well, it's set perfectly. More damage part over here? Yes, good. So, when you're building something, smack it as fast as you can, but when you're repairing it, there's a cooldown, and the part can only be repaired after that cooldown. So that's repairing and rebuilding things. So it's going to repair this gun, and we'll learn about something else. Let me see. And up we go. So, this thing's bad at repairing, but this thing is good at repairing. What else is there? We drifted a long way, actually. It's kind of surprising. Momentum is a real thing. So, let's talk about repairing and rebuilding. Yes. And also, yes, fire extinguishing. So, to extinguish fires, you need a fire extinguishing device. Like this fire extinguisher here that I'm holding in my hands. Or a chem spray. Chem spray is more advanced. I can talk about that later in a different day. But this fire extinguisher, will get rid of all fire! Yes, fire! Yes, that was remembering. So, fire in this game works by being very loud but you can see here that it has a number on here. This is how many fire stacks are on it. The more fire stacks are on it, the more on fire something is. If it's too on fire, you can't man it if it's manable position, like say a gun. To get rid of fire stacks, all you need to do is use one of these things. Fire extinguisher gets rid of it all entirely. The higher that number, the more damage the fire will do to the thing over time. Small fires like this, you can ignore for a little while. It's taking forever for this engine to die. But fires with four fire stacks, however, need to be jumped on immediately. One pro strat I heard of, though, is that some fires you don't even need to touch entirely. If it's too on fire and it's not really worth it to try and repair, you let it just blow up and then you can just repair it afterwards. If you're not in combat. If you're in combat, then you probably should pick it up. But yeah, fires are in stacks. Bigger your stack, more damage it does. Fire extinguisher gets rid of all the fire stacks on an object. So that's it. 4 states. There are pristine, damaged, like this guy over here, destroyed, and on fire. With a number of stacks indicating how much damage it's going to do. Too many stacks, and you can't even land the thing. I can't even touch the thing. I am trying my hardest, but this gun is not working for me at all. Repair it, new stuff. When parts are too damaged, they don't work as well. Alright. So now I have to do some repairing. And yeah, let's take a shape, and I'm going to teach you how to kill some ships. Now you have a general idea of how ships work, you start going to how to kill them. So I'll use my lovely targeting device over here. So we're just gonna give ourselves a target over here. After I get this thing fixed up. No, 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 oh crap. Balloon, balloon, balloon. We're falling down because the balloon is destroyed and is now grinding into the ground. If I did not get room very fast, thankfully I did, we would slowly get our armor ground to dust, and if our armor ground to dust, then our integrity will go down. If our integrity goes down, the entire ship would die. Thankfully, I was high enough and I got on it quickly enough. Damage, use this to repair, use this to rebuild. Practical demonstrations all around. So, next, how to kill a ship. So if you've been listening, you already know that ships have two main parts to control how well they are functioning. The hull armor, and hull integrity, which is the bottom right of the screen. So, to kill a ship, you basically have to hit its hull integrity, which is the bottom, and it is... Yeah, you gotta destroy its armor, hit the hull. Pretty easy, pretty simple, but in practice it's kind of difficult. To do this, we need guns, and guns have a few different types of damage up their sleeve. So, there is piercing, which is good damage against your armor. As you see, this thing. Repair gun, lightning gun, armor, guns, and engines. And also, let me see. Let me get my last focus here. So, Guns and Guns of Icarus come in two main types, and within those two main types, they do different types of damage. So there are heavy guns and light guns. These are all light guns. I need to take you onto a different ship to show you actually a heavy gun in action. But basically, light guns are, well, small, and heavy guns are big. They're pretty obvious to see once you actually get a look at one, which I'll show you later. However, each gun, light or heavy, can do up to 6 different types of damage. Piercing damage, like this Gatling gun does, works well against the armor, guns, and engines. The hull armor is here, and if this goes down, it's taking damage. To demonstrate, I'm going to take out a little, like, icon here. So, icon, reveal yourself to me. Oh, this is me. Yay! It's just a little targeting dummy. And it is moving. I do not want it to move. Hold on. I have ultimate power. Now, what was I doing? Why don't I get one that doesn't move? Or I can just move my direction. Wrong button! I'm clearly a pro at this, aren't I? So, target dummy does not move. Okay, we need to do this one. Okay, it moves, but anyway, see look at this thing? Shoot it down real quick. Those white hit markers mean I'm shooting down the armor. When those hit armors disappear, like right about... gosh darn it. Teamwork makes the dream work, everybody. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's a lot harder when I have to do everything myself. So those white hit markers mean that I'm damaging its armor, but I'm not damaging its hull yet. Okay, so that big puff of smoke that you saw right there was its hull armor breaking. You can also see the top of the screen. When the hull armor is breaking, that means it's vulnerable to its hull. When you hit its hull, it's dead. So let's see if I can get a good arc on this. Nope. Come on. Now you stay still for me to shoot you, please. Nope. So you see red hit markers or a black pool of smoke. That means the whole armor is down, and that means it can die like so. Easy. And we're gonna do that again. This time we're not gonna use any armor piercing stuff. So it took me about, like, what, 5 or 6 shots to kill this thing before? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that was my bad accuracy, but you can notice that nothing on it's been damaged. Well, actually, well, its engines are burning, its gun is burning, I get a lot of damage to it, but it was all superficial. Two clips and it's not dead. Try another one, come on. So what have we noticed here? I have fired at least 300 number of explosive shots from this thing, and it still isn't dead. The reason for that is, this thing does explosive damage. It's good against the hull integrity, but not the hull armor. Now the fire that this thing started has hit the hull armor, and that means that now we can kill it fast. If it doesn't kill itself already by hitting the ground. It's gonna kill itself? Probably, I'm guessing it's gonna kill itself. It doesn't look like it's gonna allow for this world. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Wow, it's actually... Wow, it's stuck in there for a while. Called it! Alright. But yes, different type of damage affects different parts differently. Piercing weapons do great damage to the armor, which you need to take out. And explosive damage do damage to the hull. So one of the simplest ways you can kill a ship is by shooting its armor off with a Gatling gun or some other gun that does piercing type damage, or and then hitting it with explosive rounds from something else like this mortar here. Another option you can do is take out the balloon, which I will demonstrate here. Where is it? Come on. Where's the button? Give me the button. Yes. So. It's gonna be slow because we're not using the right damage type for this thing, but it's happening. It's happening. I'll notice I'm only hitting the balloon now. Key thing to remember though is that a ship dies when its health bar goes down to 0, which is structural integrity, which, well, is completely screwed. Only after the whole armor is broken. So I'm trying to show you something that's by making this thing slowly die, as opposed to being fast. So we're just gonna take a moment and just watch the. Let me see. This thing is it about to die? There it goes! Balloon is down. See top of the screen. So let's just sit and watch the fireworks. So balloon goes down. It grinds, 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 it grinds. Armor goes down, and then finally, its integrity goes down, and the ship will explode. So that's the main theory. To kill a ship, take out its armor, then take out its hull. The best thing for that are impact damage, like hitting the ground or ramming a ship into it, and explosive weapons like that. And, well, yeah. So that's how you kill ships. It's a lot more difficult in practice, but that's basics all you need to know for that. So, captain stuff. So, being a captain of a ship or flying a ship is a somewhat different beast. This is more technical and mastering some, like... This is more technical, it's knowing how game systems work and just, like, knocking some systems off. But, captain takes a little bit more strategic stuff. So, notice here the map. You can use the command. It's hard for me to just talk about this. Talk. All I do is talk. Every time. Okay. Yes, get on it, guys. Alright. How can I best demonstrate this? Oh, yeah. Ships. So, each ship, the most important about being a pilot, I can say, is it's hard to teach into one session, is that know your ship. So, this is a Power Million, so very straightforward. It has guns on its front and left side, but it has dead zones. Dead zones are areas that a ship can't effectively fire at. For the Power Million, it's to the rear and to the right. So whenever you want to be a pilot, a great tip I can give you right now is keep your enemy in your firing arcs and keep yourself in the enemy's dead zone. That requires you learning each ship. I'm going to show you a good place you can do that in just a second. Another tip I can give you right now is try to make sure your guns are used have interlocking fields with wire. So these two guns here can hit the same ship, and the ship up top here can do the same thing. Try to get 2 or more guns on a ship at all times to get the most possible damage out of it. But after, let's be honest, go over a very basic guide I got right here. So we are going to go into the menus to show you some other differences between different classes. One thing I want to mention, though, that's kind of tacked on everything else, is stamina. Stamina lets you use different things that your class can do better than anything else. Right now I'm an engineer, so I can run faster, repair things faster, and jump higher. Gunners can expand their gun arcs and reload faster with their stamina by holding shift as you do an option. And then pilots can turn faster, move faster, go up and down faster, basically move their ship faster. All you gotta do to do that is just hold shift. You see that bar at the bottom of the screen, the red one? That is stamina. So the more I use it, the more I lose it. When I get back, though, is by doing the things associated with my class. So it's going slow now, but whoa! We just jumped the moment I start repairing things. Same thing with the gunner. To get more gunner stamina, you need to shoot more objects. In pilot, well, it's you're basically stuck. You just gotta just fly and not die. So use it sparingly if you're a pilot, because you don't really have any way of boosting your regain of that stuff. So I think the best way I can demonstrate things is to do a more practical demonstration. Basically, just play the game and just you'll be able to see what I do exactly and how I do that. Last tip is, if you're repairing things, just hop from object to objects like this. If you're if you're building things, just stick on this thing and just hammer at it until it gets back up to repairability. But that's basically me just rambling on for about 30 minutes about how to play Guns of Icarus. So I think the best thing is for us to get into an actual game. So, are you ready? It doesn't really matter if you're ready. I'm just gonna do things. Do all the things and hope for the best. So, what to do? Huh, Stacy. New match. What am I doing here? What exactly am I doing here? I'm not dead yet. You'll see how long I last. Stacy up. Yes, new match. So both of them locked. That is very convenient. Let's try. Let's wait for coming here at peak hours. So get your star match or go solo co-op. That's probably faster. And yes, hell difficulty, perfect. Well, out of the frying pan into the fire, I say. So I'm going to try something together, but it's probably going to switch me as an engineer. Let's not be too annoying. Yes, okay, fine, that's fine, yeah, that's good. I'm not going to try discrete demonstration, and I'm going to break down some stuff in the menu. But just going to break this up with the actual game to actually show you how things work. So it's going to be hectic, but I'm going to try to explain what's going on. And it's actually pretty manageable. So just buy a ship with a side glass here. This whole armor is not down yet, but these guys escape off. His armor's down, so now I can hammer him. And he dies. Alright, so this is a game called Bomb Carrier. So basically I destroy all the bomb carriers, and we gotta do it before they reach a certain point. Otherwise, we are done. So right now I'm spotting things with this spyglass here, so the captain can see him on his map and plan things appropriately. Because the captain is a great guy, hopefully. Next up, Notice, when I repair things, I'm hopping from system to system, not staying on one thing for too long. To avoid that cooldown. If bullying things, however, I stick on it. Hold on a minute. Gosh darn it. Worst possible timing. Hello, 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 hello! What's up? I'm doing fine. What's going on? I'm doing fine. What's going on? Okay, so that was very interrupted. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, dev games, perfect.
Yeah, you wanna hop in?
Greetings.
If not, we'll just hang out here. The Dev Games mission is up. Reward is 2 dark blue die. There's also a weekend mission up, which is, or not weekend, it's full week now. Um, used to be weekend missions. That's full week. This week's mission is to win five five PvE matches on veteran difficulty or higher. That'll get you some bonus coins and a coupon. As always, let me know feedback, especially on the week missions, the week-long missions. And I actually need to come up with more missions. We're about out. I gotta get some more out to put in the game.
So now we are in what is called the Lobbies of Icarus.
Silver propellers, what?
Unfortunately, due to low player count, this is where you may spend most of your time playing Guns of Icarus. But it's worth it. It can be kind of hilarious as well. While we're waiting, let's go and just dive into some of the parts of the classes. So, each 3 classes: Pilot, Gunner, Engineer.
It starts, the week-long missions go from Friday to Friday. So it just started today. I used to run them from Friday to Monday, but I'm experimenting with week-long missions instead now.
This might be the best time for introducing things. Let's just hope we can get to the game quickly. I feel bad, Tactic. They're gonna hate me so much. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna hop into a different game just so we can get something a little faster going on here. Co-op actually was pretty decent for stuff, and hopefully that guy's still trying. Otherwise, they might rage quit. I will be surprised. Oh, 7 guys, perfect. Time to redeem myself. I'm glad I even ship though. This is veterans, so they may be less mad. See, they took the armor, and now they're hitting with explosive weapons. They hit with armor-piercing weapons. Explosive weapons, no damage. Wait, armor piercing, and that armor is going way down. Slowly but surely. Actually, you have no fair arrests here, so it's gonna be very confusing. Just walk through repairing stuff, that's basically the main thing. This is how an actual engineer do. Oh! That was not good. And that, sirs, is a ram. There's lots of going on here you're probably not gonna get, but just try and stick with me. Point is, the ship is almost 100% up. And like that, we think, and oh gosh darn it. No note for engineers. I also use some special equipment that'll make their engines and stuff move faster, but as a consequence, they will take damage. Even when I'm not being shot at. I'm being quiet here, but I'm in time books right now. More to go. Go. Bongo and Irving. So that was what being a match is like for an engineer. That was kind of hectic because it was co-op and it was veterans. It wasn't hell, but it might as well have been from the outside looking in. But we won this time, and I'd have to leave in the middle for a phone call, so yes! Everyone did a good job, so we should give them a thumbs up. Let's see our stats. Not bad. Let's start the lane. Yeah. Not the best score, but complete the mission. This stuff I can explain later, but yeah, just basics now. That's how you repair things in an actual combat setting. Main takeaways from that: make sure to always hop around when you're repairing things because of the cooldown timer. Managing those effectively and going throughout the entire ship as opposed to just sticking in one component is critical. There are some places where I just sat on the hull, but most of the time I was trying to hop between different stuff and yeah, not just leave any parts of the ship neglected. Also, good teammates there that are helping out as well too. I could not hold it together myself. They were shooting things, but they also help prepare, so that's brilliant. So, being completely on different terms, let's talk about different ships. Remember I was talking about big guns and heavy guns? These are heavy guns. These are big boys. These do a lot of damage. Take up more spots on the ship and they're heavier, but they dish out more damage to compensate. Light guns over here are small in comparison. You saw me shoot one of these things, right? Well, look at this bad boy. Big bruiser. So let's go into different damage types for these light guns. So as I said here, your Gatling gun, short range, good for piercing, as you can see here, and a little shatter as well. So we can do guns, engines, and armor. Piercing goes good against armor, shatter good against components. So, obvious. Flat cannon, all explosive. Great for knocking down the hull, but just sets everything else on fire. Use it, try and use it after armor is done, but if the armor can't be broken quickly, go ahead and fire a round off. Get those components messed up. So yeah, once again, explosives and shatter, so it can basically do the same thing. A mixture of these two guns. Fire! Self-explanatory. Burns everything. And also apparently does good damage to the hull too, which I was kind of surprised by. So yeah, don't mess with fire. Ah yes, Flechette. Flechette takes out engine, balloons, guns, and engines, basically components. So you want to kill a balloon, use Flechette rounds, basically like shooting a bunch of nails at your enemy. Harpoon, all mostly piercing, but also Flechette, so therefore doing that. Flare gun. Does minor flyer damage, but it's more of a support gun. What its thing does is it reveals enemies in its like beam. So if you want to see someone's in some fog and you want to light that area up, so you just shoot that beacon in there and it lights up all the ships that are in that fog for you to see. Handy but very situational. I would use it most of the time. You have good eyes, you can see it, but it's there if you want it. Mercury Field Gun. This is a very long range piercing and shower weapon. As it says, good against guns, engines, and armor, and has a really nice long range. Downside is it has a small magazine size. It only has 2 shots in it, so aim well. All I'm going to mention is that it has an arming time. Arming time is essentially the minimum amount of distance a round has to travel before it can actually do its full damage. If you think it's too close for a Mercury Field Gun or other guns with the arming time, then it's not going to do much damage. You can do some, but not much. So yeah, we have long range guns, try to actually use them at long range. If they get close, try to switch to a different weapon. So yeah, the mortar, all explosives, short range, blows things up regardless where it is, perfect. Banshee light rocket carousel. Does some fire damage and also some explosive damage, so good against hull and balloons, and I think it has an armor, a very small arming time. As does this Artemis over here. Ooh, now we're bringing some more specialized guns. So right here we have the Haze Light Cannon, does some fire damage, piercing damage, good against armor and balloons, and it has a long range, and it has an arming time. And the arming distance is 0.6, so this thing has to be in the air for 0.6 seconds before it can actually do any full damage. And if it's under 150 meters, then it won't do any area effect damage. So yes, certain guns like this thing are ineffective at close range, but very effective at long range. Just make your armor shots, but thankfully it has a nice little like gradient range thing to hook easy. Mine launcher. This thing's kind of trolly. So basically, it shoots out a mine, it pops a balloon, it sits in the air, and then if you run into it, you get blown up. It does impact damage and piercing damage, which means it is great against doing hull armor, against hull and armor. So this is a ship killer. This thing is put this on any ship, use it right, it will kill ships very easily. Problem is it's kind of hard to use, so it's usually a more gun that pros use more than less. But it's great for air denial, especially around points and stuff. You do not want to be hit by one of these mines. What I also people do is if you shoot a balloon, if you have a mine suspended above a ship, and you shoot a balloon off, the mine will drop onto the ship. Hard to do, but if you can manage it, it is hilarious. how to cut a gas mortar. As it states, arms in 60 meters. Of course, that doesn't do any much damage at all. But if it goes past the distance, it creates a large cloud of chemicals that damage all components in there. So guns, engines, armor, basically everything. It just starts burning things with acid. Atin lens array. For a long range weapon, long magazine size, it's good against long range. The problem is that it kind of has the opposite effect. After 60 meters, it does reduce damage, so you want to try and get it within like long range, not so long. It's also damage over time, so it's not going to do much damage if it's only on target for a few seconds. This thing's great for large ships that don't move very fast, so you can just keep that beam on them, just keep it on them constantly. So yeah, it burns things, focus beam for long range. Basically a long range flamethrower. Acting lens array 2, similar thing, but this time it's shorter range. So if you want to get up close and personal, use this thing. Long range, use this thing. Ooh, the Arc Caster, or the Feebers Weaponized Coil. This bad boy is long range and also can chain between different enemies. So if I shoot one enemy with this thing and it's charged up off, it will hop to the next enemy. Enemy after that, enemy after that, and enemy after that. It does good against enemies with armor and components because it has shatter on it. So use this thing against groups of enemies for some pretty interesting results. Same thing, but short range. The Seraph Tariff missiles. So this works well. Medium range basically shoots a bunch of rockets at a target. It's more accurate because these are actually guided. They're like the tow missiles. You basically point it at the ship, and it just follows your pointer until it hits it. Very good getting a king from long range targets that are moving fast and stuff. Problems with it as the arming time, so you can't use it close range, but it's still a very effective weapon. Same thing, but this one's for what's it called? I'm not sure what this thing does. This is medium range. This one does a bit long range, I guess. It's basically the same thing, but just shoots a longer range and has like one rocket. So cool. Kaiko Gathmore 2, basically the same thing but short range. But where's my... yes, the heavy guns. That's what I'm talking about. So, now we're going to the big boys. These guys can basically kill ships all by themselves. Like a combination, but these guys are pretty beast. So, flat cannon, very simple. Explosive rounds, has arming time, has a smooth area effect about the short range, so use this thing at long range to medium range, not long range. This thing, same thing as the other one, but instead of having 4 rounds, it has 2 rounds to do double the damage. So if you want to kill ships quick, and you're pretty accurate, use this thing. Man to go heavy watcher. This thing shoots tons of rockets at an enemy about medium range, and it just... This thing just wrecks every component on a ship. I fire this thing and then basically everything on one side of the ship basically just gets shut down. Doesn't do much hull damage, but it basically screws up everything else. The only thing that balances it is that it's a pretty long reload, so make each barrage count. Some pro tips for this using this thing. Have your little mixer rounds make the spread of rockets is very small, so use that if you want to get longer range shots so we're more precise. And burst rounds in loading this thing basically just utterly wreck systems like guns, engines. Basically anything small you can man or not just gets wrecked. So very effective, borderline OP in my opinion, but it's just me. Ooh, Carronade. So this thing basically kills balloons, shatter and impact. So it's good against balloons and wait, is this the no, this is my bad. This is the thing that shoots cannonballs. Yeah, cannonballs. So yeah, this good impact damage and shatter damage. So it hits balloons, it hits components like guns and stuff, engines. It basically works everything, including the hull, everything except the armor. So you don't break armor with this thing, but it breaks everything else. It's a good all-around gun, but it doesn't really do anything special other than do lots of damage, which is all we need. So I like it. One of my favorites. Heavy Carronade. This thing shoots just tons of flechette. You want to kill a balloon at close range, this thing will do it. Longer range, not so much, but this thing is a very good balloon and component killer. So yeah, get up close, hit a balloon, hit every component in its arc, and you will be fine. One of my favorites, the Immortal Gaze Heavy Accelerator. It's basically a giant railgun. It wrecks armor and components. It's essentially like the larger version of the field gun. just has a charge up time. So make sure you hold down that button and you'll just release, and this thing will basically take out all the ship's armor at long range if it's light. This thing's nothing to mess around with. Same thing, but this time it's for slightly shorter range and has slower arming time. So it doesn't do as much damage all at once, but it more chances if you did a bad shot. Lumberjack, another one of my favorite. This thing is a great fucking balloon to long range. This thing is all flechette, so it's all balloon damage, but if you hit this thing at long range, past its armor distance, which is considerable, you will basically wreck balloons again and again and again, and they can't even get close to you. Requires a good shot to match the arc, but once you get it down, it is beautiful. Minotaur, a troll gun. This thing can basically push ships around like it's a bully in high school. Like it basically knocks ships around like it basically just punches a ship from long range. I wish I wanted to show this to you if you understand it, but it just pushes ships around. That's basically all it does, but it's brilliant at it. Also damage to armor components, but it knocks out enemy ships, knocks them off of arc, it can spin them, it's pretty hilarious to get it down. The best thing is shoot away from, if you want to spin it, shoot away from the ship's center of gravity, and this thing can knock it off its arc. If you just want to push it back though, aim for center and it'll just push it back, if it's not heading towards you. It's strong, but not strong enough to really stop a ship in its tracks, so just be aware of that. And this one is the Roaring Tire Head Detonator. I actually haven't unlocked this thing yet, so I can't really know how it works that much. All I know is it shoots a bunch of explosives at things, and if it blows them up, it's basically like a more aggressive form of the mine launcher. It shoots smaller mines at things basically, but instead of doing impact damage, it just explodes damage, so it actually hits the hull. It shoots explosive balls at things. All you need to know is it shoots explosive balls. And then the other one, yeah, limits of my knowledge. I do not actually know how this thing works. So yeah, that's how far as the guy about the guns works. Now, talking about guns though, we can go into the ships. So I'll just go a brief rundown of each ship for you guys. So let's start from the top. Let's make it simple. Goldfish, pretty fast. Alright at taking damage. Has a nice heavy gun at the front and 2 light guns on the side. No, alright. It changed it. No, that was originally. I'm being OG. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guns. Yeah, that's new. I'm old fogey. Yeah, it's 4 guns. 1 heavy gun at the front, 2 on the sides, and 1 watching the rear quadrant this way. So wow, they actually gave it more guns, which is nice. 3 engines, 1 main engine, and 2 turning engines. But the main thing you do with the Goldfish is that its main engine is far away on this massive stick. So it's kind of hard to access. So you hit this thing, it's not going very, very fast. But it can move fast when it gets going. So, decent maneuverability, nice firepower. Not the biggest thing in the world, but good all-around attack ship. Junker. As it says, it's easy to use, pretty tanky, but its main advantage is its broadsides here. These 2 guns on the sides. Very easy to get some good combinations in here, so I have my guidance here and the explosives here. Not the fastest thing in the world, but it makes up with its versatility. This thing can do basically anything you want it to do, but it can't do anything great. So just keep aware of that. The right hand can do anything, but not everything the best. Squid, light, fast, agile, and very easy to kill. This thing has very low armor and very low hull integrity, so take too many hits this thing and you are going down. But if you're a good pilot, you're going to be able to avoid all this. Its massive speed and maneuverability gives it the ability to stay in its ship's dead zones. Dead zones! That's what I'm forgetting. Okay, so yeah, this thing has a dead zone on its left side, where the captain is. You can see the enemy here, but you can't shoot anybody, so keep ships to the ship's right and back. If it gets into the left, you're kind of screwed. Goldfish! Dead zones. Just go back and do dead zones. So it has good coverage on its front, and some coverage on its side, but basically you want to attack this thing from the back and right. So from this angle. This Gatling gun can't hit you, and this other gun can't hit you. So try hitting it. If you're going to attack this thing, attack it from this way. If you're a pilot, try and keep enemies out of this spot, because you can't really do anything to them at this distance. Junker, only actual blind spot really is its rear. There are some portion times where you can't really hit a target in this distance if they're really close, but it's really, you can fire basically everywhere around it, but it's rear. So attack a target from the rear or from the front where it only has one gun pointed at you. Squid, as I said, attack it from the left side because it has no guns on this side. If you're flying this thing, keep your enemy off of your left side unless you're running away. Galleon. This is big, slow, but it can take a lot of hits. It also has a lot of big guns on the bottom, so use these at your discretion. Some light guns on top. It has a light gun slot here, here, and only two? Yeah, only two light guns. Yeah, 4 heavy guns, 2 light guns, one main engine, 2 engines. I'm terrible at this. Junker. 1 main engine, 2 light turning engines up here. Squid. All four of these are actually turning engines. So you lose one of these things, you basically get screwed. So main things you want to protect on this squid are your engines. Maneuverability is life. So lose too many of them and you are pretty much screwed. So yeah. Galleon. 1 main engine, 2 turning engines, 4 heavy guns, 2 light guns, most of our power dedicated to its left side and back. But because it has heavy guns, has guns pointed in all directions, other than say its front, it's pretty well covered. So if you're going to attack a galleon, attack it from the front or rear, because these 2 heavy guns on these sides will obliterate you. It is very tanky, but it can move, but it also moves very slowly. So positioning is key with this thing. You get it out of position, you're not going to be able to run away very easily. Spire. First off, dead zone, so don't forget them. The rear is a very big fat dead zone on this thing. You want to get the Spire, knock it from the rear. That's pretty that simple. 1 main engine, 2 turning engines on the side, and it has some pretty good coverage for its guns at the front, basically. So, wish I had a match for this, but yeah, if you attack it from these angles, then you're gonna get shot at. But you go past this way, and you are basically in the clear. So it's a Spire. Try and keep the enemy in front of you, or maybe slide to your left and right. But to get behind you, you're screwed. 1 heavy gun at the front, light guns covering the other parts of it. Decent ship rolling on points, but it's not the most maneuverable thing in the world. Up and down, yes, but side to side, not really. Fun thing you can do with this thing though is spiking. If you can come above an enemy, you can actually ram its balloon from above and just knock it with your hull. Pretty hilarious. I like it, but I don't play it very often. It's not. I like ships that are fast and maneuverable. That's my taste. Pyramidion, very good ship. It's basically average at everything except attacking things from the front. Decent speed, but it's not very good on acceleration. So once you get the thing moving up, it goes really fast, but it's hassle to start moving. It is great for ramming, as you can see this large prow at the front. Makes it very easy. But it's slow to turn slowly. 1 main engine, 2 turning engines, and it has 4 light guns. You saw this when we were doing the tutorial. So this is the 2 light guns on the side, 2 light guns in the front. Dead zone, rear and right. So if you're in a Pyramidion, keep the enemy to your left and front, and try and keep the enemy off of your right side because you have no guns covering it. Got it? That's basically it. Mobula! This is a very interesting ship because its balloon isn't above it. So you see here the Pyramidion, the balloon is above here. So it's a very obvious target. But Mobula, however, places the balloon inside the hull, which is interesting. So the way this works is that the hull is this metal stuff, and the balloon is this cloth stuff. So it's both easier and harder to hit at the same time because, yeah, everything's in one place. So you're likely to hit something, but not something you're actually wanting to hit if you're not shooting very skilled. It has 5 light guns, all facing towards the front. We're hitting Mobula. Best way to hit it is from the back. No guns pointing towards it, and the Mobula, due to its design, is actually very hard to repair. You see, its hull and balloon are located in these hallways here, and it actually have to access these ladders. So, kind of hard to hack, but the advantage it has, its thermal firepower, is to be very greatly appreciated. Again, put 3 guns on target if it's facing straight at them, so you're not staying in front of this thing for too long. Otherwise, you're going to get wrecked. But if you can stay on its sides or rear, you are going to wreck it very easily. Magnate. I don't like a ship, as you probably noticed, but it has some benefits. It has a very large balloon, so it's a very easy target to hit if you got a lumberjack or something like that. Yes, but it has other benefits. For one, it has far more firepower. It has 2 light guns on each side and 1 heavy guns for 2 heavy guns and 4 light guns in total on the ship. It has a two very murderous kill zones on its front left and front right side. If you get a ship position right, you can get a heavy gun and 2 light guns on it all at once, and that's enough to kill most ships in a few seconds if you get your timing right. So, a force to reckon with, but its low maneuverability makes it easy to outmaneuver if you know what you're doing. Great for PvE, but it takes a little bit more skill to hack in PvP as far as I've seen. Pretty tanky, but not as tanky as a galleon. So not bad, but not with my type of ship. 1 main engine, 2 turning engines. Yeah, that's alright. Crusader! This is basically the inverse of the Magnate. You can see it has a mob-leg internal balloon like you see here, so the balloon is integrated like the Mobula. However, unlike the Magnate, it has hits heavy guns at the front instead of the rear. Same gun layout for the most part though. 4 light guns, 2 heavy guns, 2 light guns on each side, 1 heavy gun on each side. It's easier to repair than the Mobula because everything's a bit more streamlined, but it's still hard to reach different parts of the ship. It's split off into 2 sections almost. So you have the hull here, have the main engine back all the way in here. So things spread out kind of, but I'd say it's a little bit better than the Magnate simply because it's a little bit harder to hit. Notice here its target profile, pretty small because the balloons aren't integrated into it. Magnate though, it's just one huge target. You're gonna hit something a lot. You're shooting at this thing. Judgments! I don't want this thing, but I can tell you about it at least a little bit. It has 1. Wait, serious? 1, 2. They changed this thing. I don't know. Yeah, they changed it. So, yeah, this is not. What I know about this thing is out of date, but yeah. So let me see. 2 light guns, a heavy gun, 1 light gun. So it seems like it has 2 heavy guns and 3 light guns. 2 at the front and 1 at the back. So you want to hit this thing, you probably want to hit it from the sides. And if you're running this thing, try to keep them off of your side, because that's where your main weak point is. Yeah, there used to be a heavy gun here, but it must have changed it. Modification to design. This thing is fairly tanky, but and everything's compact, which makes it easy to repair. But it's no galleon or one I'll show you next, the Corsair. Oh yeah, the engines. It's very similar layout to the Spire, as 4 engines on it, so keep aware of those things. Corsair, basically the Spire and the and the galleon have a baby. 3 heavy guns, 3 light guns, complete 360-degree gun coverage. This thing has absolutely no blind spots, so you can technically from the rear is where it's most vulnerable, but it can basically shoot you anywhere your ship is. So from the rear, but you're gonna get at least lifted a little bit if the gun is on point. 4 engines, 2 main engines at the bottom and 2 turning engines on the side. It's both easy and hard to repair because all the essential functions are usually located in about the same spot, but the downside is some of the guns and stuff are hard to reach. So, very tanky. Lots of guns coverage everywhere. Very few dead zones. It's a good ship. One problem is it's kind of slow. It's like a galleon, like I said, so do that what you will. One of my favorites, the Shrike. It's basically like the Squid's older brother. It's less maneuverable, but it's just as fast and has 2 heavy guns. So it's a bit heavier, a little bit slower and less maneuverable, but has a lot more firepower. This is a very interesting layout. So it has 1 auxiliary engine doing the thrust, and then 2 semi-turning, semi-thrust engines on its back. So interesting layout for its engines. It's also very small and compact, so it's very easy for an engineer to reach all different components, but it does not have much health. This thing cannot tank very well, so this has been good for going quick runs on that target, run in, broadside it for a little while, and get out of the dodge when things get bad. Nice speed, but low maneuverability, so you won't be able to turn very fast in this thing, but it can shoot really well. Stormbreaker. Very maneuverable, but not quite as maneuverable as the Spire or Shrike. But, not Spire, as the Squid or Shrike. What it does make up for, though, is in its firepower. One heavy gun, and 3 light guns. 3 light guns on the side, and 1 heavy gun on the right, on the later side. Very powerful ship. It can maneuver very well, but it's very, very rare to put together. You can see it being basically held together by like pins and needles here. So this thing is not good for tanking, but it's very good for doing damage. Run in, support other ships, get out of dodge. Very good acceleration, but low speed. So don't think you're gonna be getting away from people that quickly. In terms of its engines, it has 2 turning engines and 1 heavy main thrust engine. Also, it's a very interesting design that keeps the ship open to the sun for some reason, which is because it's a rash design. It's made in the desert, so why it wouldn't protect its users from the sun, I'm not exactly sure, but it does help visibility greatly. It's very easy to see in this thing, especially up and around. So gotta take the benefits of the losses. And that's a quick breakdown of every single ship. So it's not the most informative, I'll admit, but give you a quick rundown. Last thing, we're gonna go into different classes, just iron out differences between them. Pilot. The main thing of the pilot with the different classes is that each one has 3 tools for its 3 tools for its area. So pilot, for instance, has 3 piloting tools. Guards have 3 special ammos, and engineers have 3 engineering tools. So keep it as you will. Stamina. Stamina helps pilot flyer more easily. Basically makes it more maneuverable, faster. Gunner reloads faster, does more damage. Can extend its arc, which is very handy. Engineer runs around faster, repair things faster. Basically, just gives him adrenaline shot. So we're just gonna go through the different tools for each class here, and I'm gonna finish this off by briefly describing each one, just for everybody's sake. Or mallet. Great for repairing, but has a very long cooldown. So if you got a lot of energy to repair quickly, use this thing. Also, you don't have the time to school armor components. So if you want to repair things, use this rubber mallet. Spanner, great for rebuilding things. Very low cooldown, so if you want to do some minor repairs, this thing is what you want to use. Fire extinguisher extinguishes all fire stacks on a component. So very good for taking out fires, as you can tell. Now we're going to more advanced stuff. Pipe wrench is basically like a happy medium between the rubber mallet and the spanner. It can repair things and also rebuild things pretty well. So if you're a class that's not based on just repairing things, this thing's a must-have in your toolkit. It also removes 1 fire stack, so actually extinguishes fires, but very slowly and only minor ones. The buff hammer, as you can kind of describes, this bad boy basically increases the performance of every opponent on your ship. Hit the engines with it, engines will go faster. Hit the hull armor with it, it'll resist more damage. Hit the balloon with it, it'll resist more damage and have more maneuverability. This thing buffs everything on the ship that you can basically repair. Armor kit. This thing basically adds an extra layer of armor onto your armor, so it's like armor for your armor. Great thing to have, especially in alliance matches where it's hard to repair all that damage, so good thing to have. Sailsift kit. So this is kind of a mix between all these things, but the advantage it has, it repairs things over time. So you can normally you have to actually manually hit things for it to repair, but this thing, all you gotta do is touch it once, and it will slowly repair over time. Handy if the part isn't gonna take much severe damage, and you basically can just hit this thing and it'll repair the thing automatically for seconds. So good thing to work with. And special abilities. Yeah, this is for engineer special abilities. They're pretty much self-explanatory. I don't have to talk about these, and they're only effective in Alliance, so I'm just gonna avoid these for right now. Gunner. So let's talk about these different ammo types. Lockradar shot. It is very niche. It basically increases your gun's damage intensely, but it also destroys your gun in the process. So use with care. I would not touch this stuff unless you really know what you're doing. But yeah. This thing, it destroys your gun, so try using it unless you really want to do some crazy stuff. Heavy clip makes the round makes little things in your gun a little more accurate, but lowers your rate of fire. Incendiary rounds, as it sets things on fire. Works better on some guns than others. Lesmok rounds increase the max range of the gun. So, very helpful. It's very useful for short range guns, for instance. So it can basically turn a Gatling gun, which is supposed to be a medium to short range gun, into a long range gun. So very handy for that. But it lowers clip size, so use only at long range. If you don't need it, don't use it. Heat sink clip. Gunners only have, I think, two engineering slots, so they often don't have fire extinguishers. This is a great clip to have if you're expecting to fight an enemy with a lot of flamethrowers or other flame-based damage stuff. All you gotta do is load this thing into your gun, and it will extinguish up to 20 stacks of fire. So, if you fight someone that's using a lot of fire, use this thing to give your engineer less of a headache for repairing your guns. Charge rounds, very simple. Increase the damage that your gun has. Not much to go on. Lowers the clip size and the rate of fire, but more damage. How can you complain? And extended magazine, as you can tell, increase the mag size but lowers the rate of fire and lowers damage. Gives you more rounds, but basically it makes each round count less and fire slower. Helpful for weapons that have a high mag capacity already to really give it the extra oomph. You can fire Gatling guns for almost forever with this thing. So, the thing to know about these weapons though is that some types of rounds are absolutely useless in certain guns. For instance, actually I've missed them actually. Burst rounds increase the AoE effect increase the AoE, so area of effect of certain types of guns. But it is not effective at all for some guns, like the Gatling gun, Minotaur, Barking Dog, and Hellhound. Those guns, do not use them on. If it doesn't cause area effect damage, it does not help out at all. So, but if anything explodes, shit things that explode, usually good. Grease rounds, faster rate of fire, and increased clip size. Lower damage a bit, but if you're using a gun with high rate of fire, it doesn't really matter much. Yeah, that is all the types of rounds. And piloting equipment. Spyglass, a must-have for every crewman but the pilot. This once you use this thing, all you gotta do is point it at a ship, click on it, and it automatically spots the ship for the entire team. Just puts it both on the map and gives it a little HUD icon. It makes the pilot job of tracking enemy ships a lot easier. So whenever you see an enemy ship or aircraft, try and spot it. Gunner or engineer, it helps out a lot. Phoenix Law, make your ship more maneuverable but damages your engines. So yeah, use this thing if you want to get more maneuvered by your ship and you aren't too worried about your engines getting wrecked in the process. Kerosene! Adds some more thrust, basically makes your ship faster for a while, but it does some damage to your engine, so use with care, otherwise your engines will hit you. Hydrogen canister. Basically, massively increases your balloon's ability to go up. You want to go up fast, use this stuff. The problem is, I think it does some damage to the balloon, so don't use it for too long. It's a great get out of jail free card if you're low on the ground, your enemy's low on the ground, and you just want to get away from them. So, good for that. Drock shoot. It's kind of like one of those parachutes that you see at the end of planes when they try and land. Slows down your ship very fast. Doesn't do any damage, but it causes so much drag that if you use it in the wrong spot, you will get caught by your enemies and you will die horribly. Great for when you stop on a dime though, so use it when you need to use it. Moonshine! Adds even more cost than kerosene, but does even more damage, so use this even more sparingly, but it will give you a great boost. Do not drink this though, otherwise you will have you'll have problems, I'm gonna say. This thing can run engines, but it'll wreck your stomach. Tar barrel! Basically just dumps a bunch of toxic stuff at the back of your back of your ship. It creates a large cloud that can also hide you from your enemies and damage anyone that goes inside of it. It's like a dust storm that you create in the back pocket. So very useful, but it also damages your engines, so use with care. Balloon Vent. Basically damages the balloon a lot, but also just deflates the balloon. It causes your ship to plummet to the ground, which can be very helpful for certain situations, but also, like I said, use with care. Don't do this near the ground unless you want to kill a ship that's below you. Yeah. So, want to go down fast, use Balloon Vent. Impact Buffers basically reduces all the damage you take from impact. So, if you're about to hit something, like a ram or a wall, trigger this thing, and your ship will be a lot better than the other guy if they're not using it. The Rangefinder. This thing automatically spots targets when you zoom in, but it also gives all of your crewmates a range to follow. So if a ship's far out, they'll see a good recommendation of where to shoot. This thing's very niche and usually is really only helpful for novice gunners that don't really know the arcs in general. It's usually a lot faster and if you can just acquire a target yourself, but if you really want to get what's called but it basically makes it easier to shoot targets at long range. There's some cool other stuff in this blurb, but I'm not really sure what it means. I don't use anything very often, but if you got a good gunner, you don't really need it. But it's good to have if you're using a ship that uses long range. Gives you a nice recommendation to start off with. And last but not least, the Drift Sail. Yes. Actually, I haven't used this thing before. What's the thing to do? Oh my god! This thing basically causes your ship to drift. It does, but the problem is if you hit anything with it, you're basically screwed. So if you want to actually drift a ship and turn really fast, then go right ahead. But you hit anything while you do that, and you are screwed. So I need to try this out later. Not right now, but later. And well, that's basically everything I know about Guns of Icarus. I can really explain in a very, what was this, like a few hours or so. So yeah, hope you learned something about this, and sorry for the interruption. So get out there and fly. We certainly need the player numbers. This is beta. Maybe I'll go one more game. This one's a gunner. Maybe I can fly. Look, actually gonna see what's going on here. Well, I'm gonna see if we can get into the ship as a. Well, this is co-op. No wonder. Let's see if we can get back to that dev game. Of course, it is not full. Well, it's full already, so yeah. So I must either go to co-op or something else. Co-op it is. This one should be a bit easier because we're not, well, in hell. Nice, calm, just a hard mode. Nothing to worry about it, just go with the motions and shoot some stuff, be nice and relaxing. Just defend the point and everything will be just fine. Got 3 ships and there's nothing to worry about. Gosh darn it! Okay, well, actually we're pretty far along. Just gonna kill this boss and we're pretty much done. That may have been my fault. We won anyway! I think I'm gonna call it here. Well, you should know most things you need to know if you want to spend. You actually spent the entire time through that whole rant. So, thanks for watching. This time, I'm gonna actually sign off. See you später. See you in the skies.